What's going on, guys? Today we're talking about a fragrance from the house of Banana Republic, and it's quite popular among the older gentlemen, 30 and up. So that's surprising because most of the Banana Republic fragrances I've come across so far lean quite 25 and down. So strap up and let's go for that ride. All right. Welcome to the Scent Bubble. I'm your host for the evening. Today from the house of Banana Republic, we have Black Platinum. Now, I do not collect Banana Republic fragrances in the 100 ml capacity because even the ones that I love, I'll never wear Banana Republic for 100 ml. I'm past it. I'm over with it. They have a lot of great fragrances, but as a collector, I just kind of wanted to get these, little 50 mLs and call it a day, just so that almost like for nostalgia, even for like my kids when they grow up, when they move into fragrances, this will be great entry level stuff for them in terms of the Banana Republic line. And from time to time, there are occasions where I don't necessarily want to wear an expensive fragrance. I want to smell good, but I don't need to smell over the top or anything. Another great thing about these is they're great for travel size. Just throw them in a bag and go. Nice, easy wears for the most part, but not all of them are bangers, and that's why we're here to break them down. Black Platinum. Let's see what it's hitting for. Again, I've seen this fragrance be quite popular among the older gentlemen. They typically tend to really lean on this fragrance, as well as the leather. I think it's leather reserve, stuff like that. But, they have a lot of green fragrances, metallics, aquatics, and stuff like that. So this is supposedly a unisex fragrance that I believe is leather-based. This is a Chypre floral fragrance. Chypre, maybe? What is Chypre? Let's define that. Refers to a family or genre of perfumes characterized by a distinct accord of citrus top notes, middle centered on cistus labdanum, and mossy animalic derived from oak moss. Okay, so oak mossy, citrusy, labdanum, blah, blah, blah. Okay, initial impressions. I guess I got to put it on skin too. I don't talk about presentation and atomizer and all that stuff. Guys, I mean, if you really care about all that stuff, go watch another fragrance reviewer. I mean that in the most respectful way possible. Who cares how it sprays? Obviously, if it has low pressure, it's beautiful. If it doesn't, it sucks. But that's not going to detour you from wearing a phenomenal fragrance. Let's just be real, guys. Same thing with bottle presentation. Okay, so right off the bat, I get something that gives me a similar experience. Again, I'm very loosely referencing here. This isn't totally in the arena of, but it's close. I get a leathery presentation, a somewhat animalic presentation. I do get a little bit of oak moss. It's in the realm and wheelhouse of Ganymede, but closer to like a Effing Fabulous by Tom Ford. It's really close to that. You know what I'm saying? Very close to Effing Fabulous from Tom Ford. Now, obviously, it smells a little bit cheaper than that, but I think out of most of the Banana Republic fragrances, this smells a little bit more expensive than your average Banana Republic fragrance, just due to the maturity of the fragrance. I see why a lot of 30 and up men enjoy fragrance like this. It's leather, it's slightly animalic. There's also kind of like a citrus, soft spiciness to it, and you definitely get a big breath of oak moss under it. This almost smells like a briefcase, to be honest with you, in the best way possible. Kind of like a briefcase, like a fresh leather briefcase with oak moss buried in it and a little bit of animalics and I don't know. Yeah, that's really it. It's got this kind of like ozonic, mossy take on leather, but it smells modern and fresh. Let's take a look at the window here. On skin, it sweetens up just a little bit, but check out this note pairing here. Pink pepper up top, cactus, and lemon. On the skin, I definitely get the cactus lemon combo. On the test strip, I don't get it as much. It feels more of that leather, animalics, and moss. But on skin, it sweetens up, it warms up. You really get to feel more of the orange blossom, the jasmine, the amber, which I think is like super necessary for a fragrance like this. Because if you only have kind of the leather, patchouli, oak moss, it just is so earthy. It's why a lot of people can't get into a fragrance like Ganymede or even Effing Fabulous, which I believe might not necessarily be leather. I think it might be suede in Effing Fabulous, but it just kind of has too much of like a clean earthiness for men to really feel like it has a lot of flair towards. It feels very basic, but also kind of weird. It's not a familiar note pairing that's reminiscent of anything. But on skin, guys, you really get a lot of orange blossom, a lot of jasmine, and a lot of amber. And you even get the lemon and cactus. You don't really get cactus, but it's more like lemon duffed out by cactus. So it's like a soft lemon, not very tart, which I actually think is a very good thing. Pink pepper, not so much. But it's amazing how upon dry down and on skin chemistry, all of the missing notes that would have originally made me cancel this fragrance and call it a 6 now make it about an 8 fragrance for me. I can't give it a 9 or 10 just due to the craftsmanship and quality. It feels like a quality fragrance for its price point, but that's not really saying much because you can get this fragrance for 15 to 20 bucks. You know what I'm saying? But at its level, it's quite top tier in terms of craftsmanship and quality. But as an overall fragrance, taking into account, uniqueness, performance, and all that stuff, the DNA structure, all that, I got to give it just a solid 8. As a leather fragrance, this is really nice because they dressed it up. Again, you wouldn't think lemon as a top note would go well with leather, but it's beautified, sweetened by orange blossom and jasmine, but that oak moss, patchouli, and amber just makes such a mature fragrance here. The amber accentuates the sweetness from the white florals, and the lemon is just there to kind of give it this projective, it kind of just like glues the florals on the top to be more blended, I feel. It's not like a distinct lemon note at all. It mostly feels on skin like an orange blossom jasmine top with a leather heart and a base of oak moss, amber, and patchouli. That's what it feels like to me. Again, the pink pepper is so smooth, almost indistinguishable, but this is a really interesting note pairing. I almost want to give it a 9 in its category. You know what I'm saying? Like, for cheapies, this is one of the higher tier cheapies, but I can't judge a fragrance in terms of the rating that I give it based off of, what it is in its tier. That doesn't really make sense. I have to throw clones, dupes, aspireds, designer, niche. I have to throw those names out of the window and just call everything fragrances in terms of how I rate them. But I try to give you enough context to understand that if you're in the cheapy realm, this will probably feel more like a 9 level fragrance to you. It's somewhat signature. It's one of the better handlings of leather. It's not a better handling of leather to me to like red leather or bright leather by Ferragamo. Definitely not. Those are more in the 9 club for me. But this is one of the more interesting renditions of leather. I think it's 30 and up for sure. They call this a unisex fragrance. Ladies, very circumstantial for a woman to wear this, and it would be a grown woman, but I don't really see it, ladies. No judgments at all, but I'm steering you away from this fragrance. Leave this to the fellas. It's not as unisex as they're claiming it to be. And I mean, think about it. The only thing really feminine about this fragrance is maybe the orange blossom and the jasmine. But I mean, the leather, patchouli, and oak moss in is so heavy that you don't really get to enjoy those aspects of it in a way that feels perfectly unisex. It's definitely very masculine leaning, even borderline ozonic in some cases, but nonetheless, I think it's a masculine fragrance for men. Cold weather leaning. I don't really think this is a season-based fragrance. It's more of an occasion-based fragrance. Cold weather leaning, at least a breeze must be present. Hot weather, I'm not feeling it in hot weather. It feels like this fragrance would really break apart. Let's check the performance. It's not very long lasting. I mean, shoot, a lot of Banana Republic fragrances aren't that long lasting. So as a man, if you're going to rock this, I think you got to go 10 sprays minimum. You know, normally like 4 to 6 would be nice on a fragrance. You got to start at 10 and go up to 16. You know what I'm saying? To enjoy this. Occasions, I think this is a semi-formal and up fragrance. I think you could go semi-formal to formal. You could suit and tie this, but let's be honest, if you can afford a suit and tie, you can afford a better fragrance than this. So let's just call it upscale, semi-formal. It has a seriousness to it, a lack of playfulness to it. It's hyper masculine, with no real playfulness, no real sweetness. The floral elements do make it sweet, but on the sweet scale, it's like a 1 or a 2 out of 10. I really appreciate this as a leather variant because it offers a different type of experience. It almost reminds me of the Bond No. 9 Sutton Place, but just with a little more floral flair than like an animalic leather briefcase. Like I liken both of those to being a leather fragrance, but this feels a little bit more ozonic, a little bit more floral, and Sutton Place felt a little bit more like actual real leather. You know, the actual leather on the briefcase, you know, or some like leather boots or something like that. Good fragrance though, solid 8 fragrance. I think out of the Banana Republic line, this has to at least go into the top 5. And for masculine men who need a cheapie that can perform in the semi-formal and up occasion base, this is it, man. 10 sprays and up. Let me know if you guys have any other questions about this. Like, comment, and subscribe. More importantly, turn on that notification bell. We drop episodes every single day, and this was Banana Republic's Black Platinum, or 06 Black Platinum. I actually think it's a hit in the Banana Republic series. This is one of the most masculine ones I've smelled thus far. And it smells good. Smells good, guys. 30 and up, though. Y'all youngins, don't play with this. This is too much chest hair for y'all. This is like, you know, when Macaulay Culkin put the alcohol on each cheek and, you know what I'm saying? This is for gentlemen only. It has some fougere element to it, but I think it's more modern than that. But I wouldn't necessarily call it modern fougere either. But it does have a barbershop feel, but in a very different way than you're used to smelling it. But anyways, hope you guys have a blessed week. Until next time, peace.